billion to fill, and that we've spoken to the IFS or taken a look at the IFS, looking at your proposals for changing the Bank of England's function, and that is a very difficult and long process. That is very technical. That would not happen immediately.
Well, no other central bank in the world does this. This is a complete racket with the banks. And interestingly, you know, Paul Tucker, a former deputy governor of the Bank of England, fully endorses our plan, as do a growing number of economists. But look, I'm going to launch. And by the way, I won't call it a manifesto, because the word association with manifesto is lie. I'm going to launch our...
Nigel Farage's latest BBC appearance has left the entire country talking. What began as a tense policy interview quickly spiraled into one of the most emotional live moments the broadcaster has ever aired. Viewers were left stunned as the BBC host visibly choked up while Farage delivered one of the most forceful takedowns of the Bank of England's current structure that we've ever seen.
Contract on Monday, where I'll lay out all of the costings of our plans. All I can tell you is what we're doing is bold. And there's a trap here, you see. You're on benefits, you go back to work, you work more than 16 hours a week, the tax kicks in, you may as well stay on benefits. There is a terrible trap.
So hence the rationale to raise the tax threshold.
Absolutely.
That 100 billion, you say, is that from young, do you say that number's from young people not working? So that's
that is
the
the
whole
benefits
on
bill.
benefits.
However, since the pandemic, a growing number of young people are saying they've got all sorts of psychological problems, but they're also not incentivized to go to work. We want to get people back to work.
I understand that.
Seen on primetime television. It all started when the presenter pressed Farage about his proposal to fundamentally change the Bank of England's role. She insisted that economists, including analysts at the IFS, had warned that his ideas were too technical, too complicated, and too difficult to implement quickly. Farage listened, paused for a moment, and then unleashed a critique that shook the studio. He responded bluntly that no other central bank in the world operates the way Britain's does, calling the current system a racket between politicians and banks that leaves ordinary people paying the price. The presenter attempted to counter him by repeating that reforms of that scale take years, not months. But Farage pushed forward, citing experts like Paul Tucker, the former deputy governor of the Bank of England, who has himself raised concerns about how insulated and unaccountable the institution can become. With every sentence, the host seemed more overwhelmed by the intensity of the exchange. Farage's voice remained steady, but the emotional weight in the room was unmistakable. The confrontation built to a boiling point when Farage accused the political establishment of hiding behind technical jargon to avoid real scrutiny. He claimed that for decades the public had been left in the dark while decisions affecting interest rates, inflation, and national debt were made without transparency. As he spoke, the presenter's composure finally cracked. Her voice trembled. Viewers noticed her wiping her eye before continuing the interview. Social media erupted instantly. Within minutes, clips of the interview went viral. Some praised Farage for cutting through political fog and speaking with clarity and conviction. Others defended the BBC host, arguing that she was overwhelmed by an unusually aggressive interview tone. The debate spread like wildfire across Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Everyone had an opinion, and everyone was watching. Political commentators weighed in too. Some said Farage had exposed a deep national frustration with economic institutions. Others argued the whole moment was theater, a clash of personalities magnified by a tense political climate. Either way, the emotional impact was undeniable. News outlets framed it as one of the most explosive and raw exchanges broadcast in years. Now, the big question is what comes next. Will Farage's challenge spark a serious national debate about how the Bank of England operates? Will the BBC address the emotional moment directly, or will the political world move on, chalking the whole thing up to live TV chaos in an increasingly divided Britain? One thing is certain, this confrontation has left a mark, and people won't forget it anytime soon. So what do you think? Did Nigel Farage expose something important that needs to be discussed, or did he push too hard in a moment that simply became too emotional? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because this story is far from over and we'll be here to follow every twist and turn. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay skeptical.
Like this video and subscribe my channel for latest political updates and bombshell news and latest updates.